What's up, folks? Man, like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. Man, what's going on with y'all today? All right, man, we got a lot of stuff going on. Get a little situated here. Man, sitting at work today, and I'm watching all the things that's going on with our youngsters, man, that's, involving the kids with the BRAP. All the murders that's going on in our neighborhoods and all the things of those sorts. We got a lot of violent youth offenders right now. And man, it's like, my take on it, it's a lot of reasons behind it. You know what I mean? It's like from the way they was raised, it's the situations that they've been through growing up. It's a lot of contributing factors to it. You know what I mean? Like down in Jacksonville, Florida right now, the Julio Fulio, and you know what I mean? What's the song? I Smoke. And I caught myself like, man, vibing to the song, man. But I'm like, what the fuck? The entire song was about killing and dead ops. I'm like, then you had the other cat, Young and Ace, who going back with him, back and forth with him, on how I smoke. All this whole thing is around killing other brothers. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, these cats are gonna go to prison.
I started reading books, and I'm like, man,
they doing the case for these brothers. You know what I mean? I'm like, they doing the case for the police. They gonna send themselves to prison. They gonna send others to prison because they naming names, they naming incidents that happen, specifics and incidents that happen. Then I'm sitting there listening to the case of the young girl in Chicago that got killed, that was with her dad in the McDonald's. And it comes out that he had already put up a post about my ops are outside waiting on me. They probably ready to do X, Y, Z to me because I did already to slid through their blocks. And then it turns around, he done went to the grave site and urinated all over one of they dead ops' tombstone and everything. Like man, when did it get cool to you know what I mean, just degrade the dead? When did that become cool in the black community? You know what I mean? The dead used to be sacred with black people. Now all of a sudden that is like this fad that's going on. That's the thing to do, is disrespect and disgrace the dead people, you know what I mean? So I was sitting up, you know what I mean, listening to Doggy Diamonds and Charleston White. And I don't agree with everything Charleston White has to say, but I agree with some of the things, some of the underlying messages that he have. You understand what I mean? So I was listening to these guys, and their topic was pretty much surrounded behind the same thing that I'm sitting there thinking about. So I'm like, I'm gonna let y'all hear some of this. Like it's real serious.
Wrong. I can't be doing this. What does the absence of a father do to children?
It strips you of your identity. You have a name, but you don't have an identity. It removes the protection from around you, right? The world treats a fatherless child different than they do a child with a father. The world is real ugly and mean and nasty and perverted to a fatherless child. He's open prey. She's open prey. The crack era, homie. We've gone on as if that had no detrimental effect on us. It's almost as if
it's still fucking us up to this day.
Hey, homie, we act as if it didn't happen and it didn't exist. And when we look at our young people, we say, man, what the fuck is wrong with these niggas? These is crack babies. Yeah. They done grew up.
That's real.
They done grew up. Man, the chemical imbalance, right? From working with children, I started out asking questions like this. Hey, man, what's the difference between today's children and us, when we was coming through the juvenile system, right? They said today's children are suffering and battling a dual diagnosis, right? Mental health and substance abuse, right? So most of them aren't going to go get diagnosed unless they got the side-ass mama playing for the check.
Yep.
Now that you hear that, he's pretty much saying the young kids in this generation, the mental health that they're dealing with, unless the mother taking the kid down there to get that's putting the kid on the Ritalin because they're the hyperactive kid. So you taking the kid down there saying that they got an issue, so they're getting checks pretty much. That's the difference between the kids now and when we were coming up. Because they didn't just throw us on medication. You know, we just had to deal with it. We got our ass whipped. Our parents was able to just whip our ass. And fatherless kids. Fatherless boys coming up. To say the world treat them different than the world do. Think about the neighborhood when you was coming up. If a kid got into a fight, you know what I mean? If a kid got into a fight, if a kid went home and came back with his dad, the mood was all the way different. You know what I mean? It was a level of respect everybody showed. You know what I mean? But if a kid came back with just their mother and a sister, you know what I mean? The other kids still cuss the parents out and shit. You know what I mean? That's the way it went in the hood. You know what I mean? But when I was coming up, I didn't see a whole bunch of two-parent households when I was growing up. I didn't see a lot of that. I didn't see a lot of that in my family. You know what I mean? I didn't even understand the effect that it had on me until real later on in my adult years, the effect that it had on me, even all the way into the point of when I got married. I was like, man, I didn't even understand really what being married even meant, or to the degree of the severity of how serious that was. You know what I mean? Because I had a good lady, a devoted, serious queen that I was married to, but I was working every day, you know what I mean, coming home, but I still got one foot in the street, still hustling with brides on the side, several brides on the side. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm living a whole double life. I didn't understand the degree of what that marriage meant, because I didn't see a whole bunch of married people coming up. That's one effect of coming up with just being raised by moms. You know, I mean, you don't understand what men's supposed to, how a man's supposed to carry himself coming up. We winging it as we go. What we consider what a man's supposed to be, everything is just tough. You know what I mean? You got to be hard. That's the shit we was drilled in our head. You know what I mean? That's the furthest thing from the truth. You know what I mean? It's like, man, I had issues that I didn't even know or understood was issues going on with me. You know what I mean? So my ex-wife was trying to help me become the better person that I could become. But in the process of that, I was scarring the hell out of her. You know what I mean? But it was stuff from my childhood that was coming, that she was helping me bring to the surface to heal myself, that I didn't even know was an issue, because I had buried all of that. You know what I mean? I had buried that so far in the back of my mind that it didn't even exist for real. But when it started coming to the surface, man, I was on attack mode. I was going out to the bars, getting fucked up, tearing bars up, shutting bars down. You know what I mean? I'm knocking one or two cats out every weekend. Anybody that know me know the truth of the matter with this shit. I was knocking cats out every week. Just was reckless. Just in the streets, totally reckless. You know what I mean? But that was me dealing with emotional stuff coming out of me that I never had to deal with. You know what I mean? So it's like we get affected by this stuff, not even knowing that we need to deal with psychological evaluations, that it's like it's taboo to talk about that, like it's a weak thing. No, that's a strong thing, man. We gotta start healing. And because it should not be so easy to take a life. It should not be so easy to mimic and make fun of a life being taken. It should not feel good to a person joking and making fun of a person's loved one dying to their face and visibly wanting to see them hurt from that. You know what I mean? That shouldn't be normal activities. And that's normal now. You know what I mean? So we need to have these discussions, man, seriously. So it's like, man, you get a chance, everybody check that. That's just a part of it. You know what I mean? That Charleston White and Doggy Diamonds, that's some real serious. I don't want to play because it bounces around. You know what I mean? But it's a whole bunch of parts on there that's real interesting, man. That opens up different doors of what's going on with this youth from their perspective. You know what I mean? So I don't agree with everything, not by no stretch, because I definitely don't believe in everything, or I don't believe in the way Charleston White goes about doing everything or saying everything, but he has a message in there with a lot of the stuff that he says, plus the root of it, what he does every day hands-on. You know what I mean? You check your track record on him. He physically does things to help the kids, man. So you got, man, hats off to these brothers, man. That's out here having these conversations. That's out here having these open dialogues about things that's hurting these young brothers in our communities, man. So we need to get involved with these conversations and not be ashamed to tell the things that bothered you coming up. You know what I mean? We made it this far. You know what I mean? With God's grace and a lot of praying. We come from praying families, man. I know I had a lot of people praying for me. And I know that's how I made it this far. You know what I mean? It wasn't all me that got me here. And I know that. So we need to have these discussions. We need to be honest about the shit that happened to us coming up through these hard times and through them 90s and the early 2000s. We need to talk about that stuff we went through. Them 80s, them 70s, 80s, and 90s babies went through some stuff. You know what I mean? We need to be honest about it. And, man, people need to take the information for real, because, man, there's too many young folks out here dying, man, at a tragic rate. So, man, let's be positive about this, man, and be open-minded about the information. Let's keep it real, man. Yeah. Chi-Town's finest, man. I'm just trying to bring some good energy and some positivity and some knowledge to the peoples, man. That's it. See you on the next one, folks. We out.